Hello, everyone. I'm very excited today because I'm with an amazing guitarist. I'm with Antigoni Goni, the great Greek guitarist, and she's all the way from Brussels, Belgium. How are you doing today, Antigoni?
I am doing well, and indeed, I am all the way across how many seas? I don't know.
We might be the furthest away you can get away in
That's
the
right.
world right now because I'm in Hawaii and you're
Oh
over
my
there.
God.
And so
So
there's
over
12
the
hours
Pacific,
different.
good Lord.
How's
But
the
that's,
weather
yes.
there right now?
Oh, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. The other day, we had snow.
Oh,
I,
wow.
I I don't do usually that, but I posted on Facebook a picture with. I went to the supermarket and I couldn't believe it. I went out from the supermarket after 10 minutes of me being in. I had like 10 centimeters of my car window of snow in April. So for me, that's unacceptable. I mean, I lived in New York for many, many years. I don't actually remember lots of April snow. And then, of course, 2 days later, we're back to spring. So I don't know what's going on.
Well, that's a very beautiful part of the world, and I'm really excited to hear where you're going to be performing from. Tell me a little bit about this hall that you're going to be playing in.
So yes, the thing is that I kind of have a problem recording a whole concert on my living room
Uh,
for several reasons. First of all, for privacy reasons. I just still try to hold this line, between the world and my family.
sure.
So, my professional work. And then there's for acoustics, and then for inspiration, and then for a series of reasons. So looking to offer a different hall from the conservatory where I played the Nashville concert, I thought, might as well variate our life,
Mhm.
try to make it a little bit more real. I remember that with the help of my sound engineer that I played a concert back a few years in this gorgeous hall in a tiny town in the Flanders that is called the Sint-Truiden. And the academy, the arts academy there, and the music academy has this beautiful round amphitheater hall that comes up,
Wow.
and you end up with a little round stage at the bottom. I mean, it's a beautiful place, and the acoustics are very nice. And so we contacted the people, and they were very open and they were very flexible, and they said, absolutely, we happen to have some dates free because they're using the hall for other, obviously, streaming concerts. And they were so nice that they said, well, if our students can follow the concert, then you can have it for free. So I'm
Excellent.
eternally grateful because we had a wonderful time there. I mean, the acoustics were beautiful, the lighting. So it was very nice. It was a very nice experience. And then it gave you the fake, feeling that actually those seats in black, they were filled with people. And when we went to go and see the location. So I'm really looking forward
Great.
stepping in and doing the real thing. The rehearsals up to now have been great, and now, practicing for the real
Yeah.
experience.
A big thanks to the Academy for allowing you to play there. That's great. And
I will pass it. I will definitely pass it, and I'm sure they will be following, and the students will be following the event. So
so the program looks amazing. So it sounds like the first half is mainly from Spain and the second half
yes,
from South America, correct?
yes. So
Excellent.
I tried to. Well, that's another problem with the digital concerts is that, you don't tour with, I mean, usually you tour with one program, maybe and a half,
Mhm.
one program and a half. But here you just have different concerts. You can't keep playing the same things over and over. So, and in an effort to make a coherent program, I pulled two projects together. The one project is something that I'm preparing for a little while now, but slowly, because COVID for me has been extremely busy family life with two kids in the house, and setting the table 3 times a day and
Uh-huh.
cooking 3 times a day. All that. And so, but the project, the solo project, is a project of Francisco Tarrega and Miguel Llobet,
Mm.
and so that's Spain. And the other project is a project that started inside COVID, which is a collaboration with a very dear and old friend, my cellist, Amy Norrington.
Right.
And so we were so desperate in the spring last year, and that after a couple of times we met on the board, you know, on the lake to just actually walk with it, you know, 1.5 meters distance. The moment that the lockdown was raised, she was over the backyard with the cello, and we were reading through the Arpeggione of Schubert. So that saved us, basically, having the, you know, sharing music with someone.
Excellent.
And so I decided to pull these two projects together, and this is how the whole program started. So we were doing the Fire songs. So, and the Arpeggione that does not belong to this project, of course, and together with Spain, and then the 100 Years of Piazzolla. And I said, okay, a very dear old friend, a fabulous guitarist, Martin van den Bemden, did a beautiful arrangement of Oblivion. And so we pulled that in, and then came the second part of South America. So.
And it sounds like you two go way back, and you met each other at the Royal Conservatory in London, and then also
yes, the Royal Academy.
To ask you, we unfortunately lost an icon this year, the legendary Julian Bream, and you studied with him, which must have been amazing. I was wondering if you could maybe share a memory or two of you studying.
Sure. So one of the main reasons that I tried to go, and I did go to the Royal Academy, was because it was the only place that Julian Bream gave regularly masterclasses back in the 90s. And so this is how I ended up there.
Wow.
Because as probably I repeated too many times, it has been, you know, kids in their 14, 15 year of age had Beatles, or I don't know, Scorpions or Queen on the wall. I had Julian Bream. A bit strange, actually. You know, my parents probably felt better not to have Scorpions on the wall, but you know,
you like those guys too, all right.
So I always, and I still appreciate tremendously his what he brought to the guitar, his way of his musicianship, his way with the instrument, everything he did. And I must have watched his masterclasses from back in time, I don't know how many times. So it was a dream to be in the classroom and play for him. I wish back then that technology was so accessible to us like it is now. So I had recordings of these masterclasses, because I did get a lot out of it, but I'm sure I've missed a great deal. I'm extremely nervous. So I'm sure that he said things that if I had recorded it, it would be better. So anyway, this is how I ended up in the Royal Academy. And indeed, we were, Amy was there, but we never even exchanged the word. And that is the very funny thing about it, because we didn't exchange a word. However, we must have crossed enough times and crossed locked eyes enough times so that when 15 years ago, and basically 20 years later from our Royal Academy days in 2005, when I was in Brussels, walking in front of the conservatory, pregnant to my first kid, I see a string quartet walking the opposite side. And I lock eyes with a cellist. And I said, I know this woman. I just know this woman, and I don't know where. So when in your 20s, you don't dare to say, would you like to take a coffee? You seem nice, you know? So we just actually play duets. No, at 20, you're too shy. At 35, you stop in the middle of the sentence and say, do I know you? I mean, and so she said, and the thing is that we crossed and we both turned and we both almost said at the same time, do we know each other? And so we went down the list, you know, New York, no. Eastman, no, I wasn't in Eastman. Down, and then we ended up that we were both students at the Royal Academy. And the funny thing also is that we've been really good friends since 2005, but we never sat down to play with each other. We've been in each other's concerts. We played a trio together. We played the Hymn to the Muse that Dusan Bogdanovic turned into a violin, guitar, and cello trio. So we played that, but we've never played duets.
Wow.
And so it
So
took COVID,
COVID,
lockdown,
actually,
and
there's some
pure
good things, I
artistic
guess.
frustration and desperation to say, you know what, maybe. I have to say also that the cello is one of the instruments that if I have heard it before the guitar, I would have probably picked it. It's been one of my biggest loves. I love the sound, the repertoire, everything about it.
Excellent.
And so I always thought that, I spent my life trying to believe that legato exists in the guitar, And so I was dreading the moment that I sit next to a cellist and will go boom, boom. I sound like a marimba player. My legato technique will be out of the window, and my projection that I'm so proud of is just devastated. But it has been a great experience. So we've been enjoying playing with each other, and that is a COVID project, as we say.
Great. And so it sounds like you've got a lot going on. You're a mother of 2 kids, and you're in school now, you said?
I'm sorry?
They're in school now? Like,
yes.
that
My older
age
daughter is 16 and my younger daughter is 11 and a half. So
Great.
they're kids, but yeah, they're getting to be bigger kids.
Uh-huh.
And in a sense, I can't really say that I'm happy for COVID, but it's not that I'm happy of COVID, but one of the positive things out of this year is that we got to spend a lot of time together,
Right.
a lot more than we usually do, between school and touring and teaching, everything's at home. So we've had a fantastic time because they grow way too fast.
That's great. I'm so happy to hear that you were able to spend more time with them. And you're also involved in a project called the Volterra Project.
Indeed.
And you're the organizer of that. So that sounds like a great educational seminar. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes. The Volterra project is a very unique experiment. Started as an experiment, and now it's no more an experiment because it's been going on for 15 years every year. Last year, we had to do a digital edition. Earlier today, we actually had a board meeting over Zoom where we basically decided to stick it up and just go for it.
All right.
And I'm going to go and make an announcement in a few days.
Do it.
World stay in tune.
Yeah.
Saying that we at the Volterra Project believe completely 1,000% that this summer we will be so frustrated that something has to happen live. So the idea is that we go for a limited edition. So because usually one of the beauties of the Volterra project is that we are all together in a gorgeous setting, a beautiful agriturismo in the middle of nowhere. And we share rooms. I mean, the students share rooms and we sit in the same table next to each other. So you have 30 people around a big old, enormous table for lunch, dinner, and breakfast. So that is not exactly COVID safe unless the entire world is vaccinated, and it won't be until July. But so what we're going to be going for is for a limited edition in the sense of students. So instead of accepting 14, we'll be accepting 8. And every student will have its own private room. We will be eating outside with a little bit of a distance. So, and then, we will have COVID tests on location to just be able to double check after the whole, the land. We already have inscriptions, so I think that we will try to have to make it work.
Sounds like that'll work great.
We hope. And if we don't, if we're forced to cancel, then we will be sending back refunds. I mean, because one of the biggest problem these days is that, yes, it's definitely true that we're not immortal. So, our life is full of surprises. Nevertheless, one of the biggest human way of dealing with the fact that we're all going to die is nevertheless make plans. So, and with COVID, this is what has stopped. It's just like somebody, as a friend said the other day, pressed the pause button. And you are immobile. You can't make a plan to see a friend. You cannot make a plan to travel and see family. You cannot just plan anything. is not inside the house with your immediate, and that is not, is not. That's not life. This is
Right.
just handicapped it, you know. And
This,
in that sense, we're gonna make the plan to do our best to make it happen.
Mhm.
And if we can't, we're gonna be flexible enough to deal with it. I
And
mean,
maybe you could do what they do in Hawaii, where everyone that comes out to the island, they just have to take a test first, and then if they pass the test, then they don't have to quarantine or anything.
yeah.
And
I
that's
mean, we will to travel in Europe. You do have to have a test, a negative test, the moment you board the plane. But of course, you know, you have to do the test 48 hours before. Now, if you're not careful, and it comes to the responsibility of every individual, so that you stay with at home from the moment you take a test to the moment you board, or with your family, you know, so that the bubble is the same. If you don't do that, I mean, you can just get the virus anywhere,
Mhm.
obviously. I mean,
Right.
that's the nature of the virus. So if you're not careful, you can do the test, it's negative, you get the virus, it shows up, you know, you do the test upon arrival. But that's not the point. The point is that you can be responsible, you can take, you know, the 100% of the measures that you can take.
Mhm. Yes.
And then there is the risk that I go out of my door and, you know, a bicycle hit me and I cannot play the guitar again. Knock on wood, because that was a terrible scenario. I just came up with. I mean, I don't like that, so forget this.
Right. So,
Anyway,
kind of shifting gears a little bit, the sound of your guitars in the past have always been beautiful. Do you have a specific guitar that you like to play, a maker that is your favorite
yes,
guitar that you usually play, and maybe what are you going to play at this concert?
yes. So, actually, my entire career is been done on Jose Romanillo's guitar
Uh,
from
yeah.
1989. And that's the guitar that I found and found me when I landed in London in the Royal Academy. So since then, because that was just the very first year I was there, since then that has been the guitar that all my recordings has been made on. I most of my tours, and it's been the last probably 8 years. No, the last from 2000, I took a second guitar, and at the time was an Olivier Fanton Danton guitar that now I don't have any longer. And the reason that I looked for another guitar was not to substitute my Romanillos, it was to give it a break, because honestly, and that is the nature of a very good instrument, is extremely sensitive. So it was easier to travel, as I realized later, to travel with my 3-month-old daughter when I came to the United States for my green card after I gave birth. It was easier to travel with Ariadne than travel with the Romanillos. That I had to arrive, crank up the shower to get the humidity up in the hotel to 55 so that I don't get a crack while I'm playing. I mean,
Right.
and so the more the guitar grew old, and the more that Jose grew old as well, and I could not possibly afford or even find another, I
Mhm.
just start giving it a break. So I'm using it for recordings still. I'm
Great.
using it for inspiration still. And I use it in this concert because it's
Excellent.
home. So you're going to be hearing the whole concert played on La Boda, an 1989 Jose Romanillos instrument.
Nice.
And actually, the interesting thing is that one can say that, oh, Torres guitars are lightly built and they're not projecting. Well, the amazing thing is that it stands beautifully next to Amy's 1680 cello from
Great.
1680. I mean, that when I found the date, I thought this is spectacular. So anyway, it stands right there because the sound, the core of the sound, it's so amazing. And the definition of the lines of the registers is so unique that there is no interference with the
Right.
instrument. Of course, it's a recording, but our sound engineer said that it's actually perfect. We don't need to have any amplifications. Of course, Amy is a fabulous chamber musician, so you know the adjustments and the balances are nice. So this is the guitar that has been the signature of my career in a way.
Mm.
nevertheless, right now, for the past 7 years, I've been playing also and touring on an Andrea Tacchi, a maker that lives and builds in Florence, Italy. And that's an instrument that I also love very much. And so the Nashville concert, for example, was made on the Andrea Tacchi guitar.
Great.
So,
And
for those
so,
that saw it.
yeah. And it sounds like you've got a pretty hefty teaching schedule. You're teaching at several different institutions. And how has COVID kind of changed your teaching format? Have you had to do a lot more online lessons, like Zoom lessons and
Right.
things like that?
Indeed. The good thing is that my teaching at the Royal Conservatory in Brussels has been live since September. We took
Good.
the second lockdown that was in November. We took a month off around the holidays then. And now that we took another week on the already, the Easter holidays that we had here. But generally has been live this year. Thank God, because my students couldn't take it any longer and me neither. But we did the lockdown on Skype and on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, it was necessary. And I'm glad we could do it because it's better than nothing. It was also a continuous support of each other. I also say it for myself because it was a great moment of exchange, talking about music, focusing on something that we could actually control. Imagine that, control a little better, and it filled those terrible first lockdown weeks that everything was so new and so devastating and so heavy but I don't like teaching online, and your masterclass actually is going to be the first masterclass I give where I teach online people that I haven't met before.
Okay.
I do actually know. I'm lying. No, that's not true. But I do this year I'm one of the GFA mentors on the international mentoring program. So I'm teaching a girl in Nigeria once a week, and I have to say that is challenging. It is really, I find it very difficult when I don't know the player, when I haven't seen him live, I don't know his personality, when I don't know how he's seated, what his back is doing while I'm looking at the front.
Right.
How his legs are put, where are the tensions, what is happening.
Yes.
I find it very difficult.
Right. I'll try to get you the music in advance and maybe try to coach them. Once in a while, a student will come to a master class and they'll forget to, they're playing the whole time and you can't see one of their hands or something. So I'll make sure that gets, taken care of.
That would be great. What will be also great, and I don't know if it's possible, because this is what I've done with my students and it helps me enormously, is that it adds a little bit of extra work. And that's what I was about to say, that, my 16 hours of teaching or 15 hours that I have 15 students at the conservatory became almost double the time, if not more, because I realized if the connection is not great, you don't hear anything. You don't, the player is trying to make a phrasing and you get interruptions, you don't know. Then you can't really see the hands. You don't know what they're doing fingering wise. So you might just give them an advice that they already be doing it. So I usually ask for an audio and a video recording.
Sure. Yes, that's what we've been doing.
Even an audio will be interesting, and their score.
Okay.
So I know fingering wise, that some of the basics are covered, and then the masterclass or the lesson can be a little bit more productive. But that made the teaching during COVID a lot more tasking and a lot longer. In a sense, the whole thing. I'm always preparing, but it's a different kind of preparation,
Sure. I'm really excited that you're going to be doing that, and I'm really excited for this concert. Actually.
I'm not nervous for the concert. I'm nervous for the teaching the first time,
That'll go good. And I just wanted to urge everybody to get tickets for this. This is going to be a one-time event, and you're only going to be able to see this if you get a ticket. And it helps support her as an artist and also our organization. And it's going to be an amazing show, as well as the class. You'll get a recording of the concert. for 72 hours after it's been aired. So you'll be able to
All right.
do it over and over again, and you'll be able to see the masterclass. You can watch it over and over again and take notes, and
The scores, so you can find all my mistakes, you know, my memory, when I'm not on time with my child, everything, you know, it's a one of the time, you know, opportunity, guys. That's it.
And you'll get a Zoom link where we'll be able to interact with her after the concert. And that'll only be available to people that got tickets. So I just wanted to thank you, Antigoni, for being here and doing this today and talking to me.
Thank you for
taking
reaching
the
out.
time to do this. And I'm so excited to hear you perform.
Thank you
And
very much. I look forward to it, actually. I think we're going to have a good time in that hall.
it's going to be great. All right. Well, it's great talking to you, and I'll see you in about a week.
Enjoy Hawaii. I'm so jealous with, you know, our windy gray sky.
It's about 82 today and sunny. I'm going to hit the beach.
Be careful, you know, if you like the show, you're bringing me out to Hawaii. That's it. Family. I don't want the fee. I want everybody there.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to have you out here, you know, in real life once this.
That's right. So windsurfing, you know,
yes.
I come before the concert the day and I stay for a week after.
Yeah. Thanks. We'll see you.
Okay, William, thank you very much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.